China, man, China will always surprise you. So China did something amazing, which they call desertification. It's almost like, an afforestation kind of things, trying to create a greenery, a green plantation in the desert. Sounds too good to be true, right? That's what we're gonna watch today. Let's see what they did with this desert, because it's one of the things that people do not really think it's possible, but China wants you to understand it's possible. If not, then they are not China. Let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Pow!
The Earth is losing its last green spaces. According to the United Nations, 41% of the Earth's surface is desert, and 40% is threatened by desertification. No water, not a single tree, not a place for life. Yet in China, one remarkable man took bold and intelligent action. In just 30 years, he planted over 300 million willow trees, released 4.5 million rabbits, and installed 196,000 solar panels in the shape of a giant horse in the middle of the desert. The project was recognized by the United Nations as a global model for desertification control, a rare honor previously achieved only by Uzbekistan. So who created this miracle? And how could rabbits possibly save a desert? Let's find out together right now. You're looking at the Kabuki Desert, the 7th largest desert in China, stretching over 7,200 square miles, about the size of Massachusetts. Located in northern China, the climate here is unfit for people or plants. Winters are so cold and windy they feel like knives on your skin, with temperatures dropping to -4 degrees Fahrenheit, while summers are scorching, burning the ground. Decades ago, the desert wasn't this vast. It used to be farmland dotted with villages, rivers, and grasslands. Then everything changed. The winds got stronger. The grass disappeared. Yes, desertification. Sand started to move, swallowing houses and roads. The few remaining villagers left. In just a few decades, Kabuki expanded more than 25 miles east, burying thousands of acres of farmland under sand dunes up to 200 feet high. By the 1950s and 1960s, the Chinese government launched one of the largest anti-desertification campaigns in history. They built windbreak forests, banned livestock grazing, and dug deep wells in the dusty earth. But nothing worked. The problem wasn't so simple. The desert kept advancing. But China wouldn't be China if they didn't come up with a smart solution, and we're about to find out what that was. One man, Wang Wenbiao, known locally as the Desert King, led the way. But don't think he was born rich. Not at all. He was once a poor teacher in Inner Mongolia, biking over 6 miles through sand every day to get to class. Sometimes the wind was so strong his bike would be half buried and sand would get into his lungs. But right at that moment, he declared, "If I can't escape the desert, I'll make it pay rent." And he meant it. Starting from nothing, Wang poured all his savings and borrowed money to try what no one else dared. In 1988, with just a small salt company, he began his crazy experiment, spending hundreds of millions of dollars to build windbreaks, plant over 50 million willows, and green 1,400 square miles of barren land. But we'll get to that later. People called him crazy. The authorities called him a dreamer. But he kept going, living among the sand, measuring every bit of moisture. But that wasn't even the wildest part. In a place of only wind sand and biting cold, Wang Wenbiao decided to try something no one else had ever done, bringing rabbits into the desert. Yes, you heard right, over 4 million Rex rabbits are now living in the arid desert. Sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? Not robots, not high-tech, but these cute little creatures. A furry, small animal thought to only thrive in Europe's damp grasslands, now flourishing in this dry land. But these aren't ordinary rabbits. These are French-bred Rex rabbits known as the white gold of the fur industry. Their fur is as soft as velvet, smooth as otter skin, and lacks guard hairs, so it doesn't need shaving or plucking after tanning. A quality Rex pelt can fetch nearly $30, while raising one costs only about $2. No wonder China now holds over 80% of the world's Rex rabbit fur market. Even more impressive, each female can have 25 litters a year, producing 200 to 300 kits, 25 times faster than normal rabbits, with a survival rate of up to 96% even in hot, dry climates. They drink little, eat dry grass, and still reproduce normally, even in freezing -20 degrees Fahrenheit weather. These rabbits aren't just released into the wild. They live in closed-loop eco-farms. Their meat is used for food, their fur for clothing, their organs for traditional medicine. And the most valuable thing is their manure. Yes, rabbit manure contains nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. The three nutrients desert sand totally lacks. When it drops to the ground, it turns sand into moist humus, creating the first brown soil in centuries. And here's the miracle: Rex rabbits can't digest grass seeds. This means every time they do their business, they're actually planting seeds with natural fertilizer which will sprout during the next rainy season. Remember all those willow trees planted earlier? It's no accident they can survive in such dry places. Wang Wenbiao understood that for rabbits to live in the desert, he needed something Kabuki never had before: food and shade. And the silent hero...
All right, man, that is some impressive, genius. Because I'm just thinking, this is why sometimes I believe in fate, right? It's like, why would one man obsess over something as crazy as this? I mean, bringing literally, humidity into the desert, making it green.
Yeah.
It's something that, you would never even think about. You would just live around the desert. It's nature, it's normal. Why would anybody think like that?
I think sometimes nature just picks people to achieve certain things, like you're saying.
Fate, right? So to speak.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if he lived there, like he said, his bike used to get stuck in it. He had sand in his lungs. Anyone would just quit as a teacher and move to a different city to work, right? But for him to stay, I'm sure there are a lot of people who he wanted to bring on board who said no. But I just think that sometimes nature itself just chooses one person to solve a huge problem.
Yeah.
Because like you said, even the government tried different ways. It didn't work until he came in with all his ideas. So yeah, I think it's a matter of, well, for people who might think that way, it could be a matter of fate. I mean, faith. Faith.
Yeah.
Fate, yes. Fate and faith. Both
and then again, it's the Chinese, right? Chinese love to do the impossible, if you think about it. We've been here for a while, and we can see we've been lucky enough to be part of, the rapid development that China has really witnessed, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the rest is gonna show us.
Was the willow tree. Did you know willows aren't ordinary trees? Their roots can reach over 300 feet deep, almost as tall as a 30-story building, tapping into underground water and holding the sand in place. And then, the circle of life began. Young willow shoots became food for the Rex rabbits. The rabbits in turn left nutrient-rich manure around the willows. The trees feed the rabbits. The rabbits feed the soil. The soil feeds the trees. A closed ecological loop where nothing goes to waste. Scientists estimate that each acre in the willow rabbit model can produce over 5 tons of organic humus per year, turning sand into farmland in just 3 to 5 years. In just a decade, over 300 million willows have been planted, creating a green wall thousands of miles long, reducing wind speeds by 90%, and holding back over 15 million tons of sand each year. But that's not all. Wang Wenbiao didn't stop at planting trees or raising rabbits. He turned more than 7,200 square miles of desert into a giant laboratory for ecological economics. Wang Wenbiao hired over 100 bulldozers and 300 workers, working 18-hour days to flatten sand dunes and build windbreak fences stretching for dozens of miles. In just the first 5 years, more than 1,200 square miles of desert, almost the size of Rhode Island, were turned green. Millions of willows grew, millions of rabbits multiplied, and thousands of families returned to their hometowns once swept away by sandstorms. In just 10 years, the Dalad Banner area had 4.5 million Rex rabbits, generating 560 million yuan, about $76 million, helping more than 10,000 families escape poverty. Each family needed only about $3,000 to $4,000 to start and could make 4 times that in their first year. When people thought Kubuki had reached the limit of its green miracle, Wang Wenbiao amazed the world again. He brought solar energy into the heart of the desert. Yes, right where people once called it the Dead Sea. He built the Junma Solar Power Plant, a massive project with 196,000 solar panels arranged in the shape of a galloping horse. Seen from space, it's not just a power plant, but the largest energy artwork in the world, recognized by the Guinness World Records. Every year, Junma produces 2.3.
My goodness, maybe centuries ago, but today I always say the same thing. If the Chinese can't do it, then nobody really can. Because this is like, and I'm sure people watching also have never heard about this because it's mind blowing. But what's more surprising is the fact that it's not as popular as one would think this story might be.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's my first time hearing about it, but it's really like, jaw dropping.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you think? You think this is gonna be your next project back in Ghana?
yeah, there are quite a few people who have done some amazing things, but not anywhere close, like not even comparable in any way. I think that is really, really amazing. I mean, but I'm just wondering, how does he get a funding for all these? Maybe the government came in later to support.
Yeah, possibly local governments, because you know how the Chinese government structures things, right?
Yeah,
local governments are always like given like a huge responsibility, and they must deliver.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't be surprised if it's from.
Because I mean, in the beginning, it was said that the government tried different ways to to stop the desertification, but they didn't succeed. And so if you see somebody who has started and it's doing well, he's achieving goals, then I think, because the monies that are being mentioned here, I don't know how rich he is, but I don't think even a rich person will invest.
But I don't really think he cares about. I don't think it's about the money, Tim. I think it's about the honor and the love he has for his little village and his people. I don't think it's about the money, Tim, at all.
I mean, how he's funding. I'm talking about the funding of the whole thing.
I think the government is in it.
Yeah,
definitely.
He can't do it on his own. It's the amounts that I mentioned.
It reminds me of that saying. Yeah, not all heroes wear capes, right?
Yep.
I mean, this guy might seem like a nobody, but just imagine the ideas and the know-how this guy has and all the effort he put in. Yeah, I really want to see how this ends, though. So let's get back into it.
3 billion kilowatt hours of electricity, enough to power over 400,000 people, the population of Miami, Florida. But what makes this project special is that it doesn't just generate electricity. The panels also reduce wind speeds by up to 50%, creating shade for grass to grow underneath, where rabbits, sheep, and geese are released for biological mowing. Thanks to this, the soil is stabilized, sand no longer blows away, and a new ecosystem forms right under the solar panels. By 2022, Junma had saved over 760,000 tons of coal, cutting 1.85 million tons of carbon dioxide, the equivalent of planting over 80 million trees. In just 4 years, the area around the plant turned more than 2,600 acres of Dead Sea into a green energy oasis. From rabbits, willows, and sand, Wang Wenbiao created a closed value chain, meat fur manure, biogas tourism, and even solar energy. And the result? From 2010 to 2020 alone, Kubuki's ecological economy generated over $10 billion, becoming the most profitable green model in Asia. Then the unthinkable happened. After decades of people battling the sand, nature finally responded. A 2023 report from China's Ministry of Ecology stunned the world. The number of wild deer, desert foxes, and migratory birds in Kubuki has quadrupled since 1990. Species that had vanished completely now appear again in fields once filled only with sand and bones. Groundwater, the liquid gold of Kubuki, has risen by an average of 5 to 6.5 feet in just 20 years. That means if you drill a well today, you'll hit water at only half the depth compared to a generation ago. And that's the difference between dead land and living land. Not only have animals returned, but over 100 native plant species from feathergrass and desert poplars to desert flowers have come back, creating a scene few would believe: golden sand mixed with green grass and even small patches of forest sparkling in the sunlight. In fact, the soil here is no longer blown away by the wind. Instead, it's loose and has the earthy smell of life. Now let's fly over 4,000 miles south to Australia, where this very animal once caused one of the worst ecological disasters in human history. In the mid-19th century, just 24 European rabbits were brought over by a British settler for hunting. Sounds harmless, right? But you can't imagine what happened next. In just 50 years, the rabbit population exploded to over 1 billion. They ate all the grass-destroyed roots and turned nearly 2/3 of Australia's plains into desert. Each little rabbit could eat as much grass as a lamb, and when hundreds of millions eat together, you can imagine the result. The Australian government tried everything to control them, building fences over 2,000 miles long, almost the width of the United States, releasing the myxomatosis virus, even blowing up and shooting rabbits en masse. But nothing could stop the rabbit wave. So why are rabbits monsters in Australia but saviors in China? The difference is in how people act. In Kabuki, Rex rabbits are never released into the wild. They're part of a closed-loop ecosystem, strictly managed, eating willows, producing manure, enriching the soil, and generating profit. It's not just about raising rabbits, it's about building a strategic ecosystem. However, behind the impressive numbers and beautiful footage of the green desert, Kabuki hasn't avoided controversy. Some environmentalists argue the rabbit desert model is only...
Yeah, it's really interesting. One thing I noticed was the way they were like, people were poking holes into it, and they were like, oh, it's being planned by the government and big investment. But is that a problem though? I mean, it's for a good cause. What it's not like they're funding a war or something.
Yeah. I mean, I think, people are always going to push back when they feel that government should be spending money on them rather than the environment. But then they forget that without the environment, there's no human
exist,
survival. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
kind
but
of
I like
like,
the fact of keep going.
now it's kind of like putting in the family setting where in your household, maybe you still have meals, but not like extremely lavish meals. And then your dad is or your mom is lending money to another family that needs it. You're going to be angry, right? Why are we not eating chicken? Why are we eating fish every day?
Yeah, but the thing is, it's for the same country. It's not like they do it in a different country. It's the same country, and these are also part of the, these people are part of the country. They're part of the population, so they deserve to have like, a peaceful and, progressive life. But I like the fact that, it's like, amidst all the craziness in the war, Spain is actually learning something that China did, and it worked.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that does that, give the people or the Kabuki people, does it give them like, does it justify the money the government spent or whatever the conspiracy was? Does it, because Spain is now kind of learning from the same playbook?
Yeah.
So was it justified now? I mean, is it justified or?
I think it is. I mean,
we just let sleeping dogs lie.
Yeah. We've come from a time in the past where everybody looked up to the West for all sorts of innovation, which was one direction or one directional. But if now Western countries or European countries are also learning from other countries, I think that's how the world should operate, right? You can't know everything, right? Sometimes you've got to borrow from somewhere else. And so if Europe or a European country is borrowing a model to implement in their own country, then it means they've seen what is good about it. But either way, no matter how you say it, knowledge is not only stuck in one area, right? We learn from each other. And so it doesn't matter who started it. If you think it works, you can adopt it and it will help you too.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, that from what Spain did, I think that vindicates China or the Chinese government from whatever people are accusing it of doing, because we can clearly see that other parts of the world need the same kind of like, architect or planning or playbook or whatever. So
Yeah.
in the end, like you said, we cannot survive without nature. So for me, it doesn't matter how you look at it. I think it's a good cause.
A small part of the massive economic ecosystem of ENN Group, the company Wang Wenbiao founded. They claim Chinese media has exaggerated the role of rabbits, while the real success factors are government planning, big investment, and advanced land management technology. Many experts also worry that if this model expands too quickly, it could create new ecological pressures. Rabbit manure, while nutritious if it accumulates too much, can cause nitrogen pollution, alter soil pH, and affect groundwater. Some pilot areas have even seen green algae appear around natural fertilizer ponds. Yet the United Nations sees something different. In 2011, Kabuki was recognized by the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification as a global model for desertification control, an honor only a few places in the world have received. By 2019, it officially became a global land restoration demonstration center internationally recognized as a standard for sustainable development in arid regions. And now Kabuki's story doesn't stop at China's borders. It has spread worldwide as a planetary regeneration formula from Africa's dry lands to the deserts of the Middle East and now to Europe. In Andalusia, southern Spain, once dazzling under the Mediterranean sun and hailed by the Romans as the granary of the empire, the region is now facing one of the worst climate disasters of the century. Rainfall has dropped by over 40% in just 30 years. Hundreds of rivers and ancient irrigation channels have dried up, and farmland is cracking as if scorched by fire. In many places, people have to drill wells over 650 feet deep just to find a little groundwater. According to the European Union, nearly 75% of Spain's land is now directly threatened by desertification, making the country the driest hotspot in Europe. Yet in desperation, Spain chose to rise. Learning from the Kabuki model, the government launched the Andalusia Restoration Plan 2030 with a bold philosophy: not just fighting the desert, but bringing it back to life. They are building the Mediterranean Green Wall, planting millions of olive trees, acacias, and native grasses to keep the soil moist, while developing regenerative agriculture where farmers' soil and climate are managed as one living system. Solar farm systems are also springing up, modeled after Kabuki's agro-PV approach, growing crops under solar panels, producing clean electricity, and keeping the soil moist. From a dead land buried under sand, Kabuki has become a symbol of hope. People haven't just conquered nature, they've learned to live in harmony with it. If a desert in China can come back to life, what's stopping the rest of the world? What do you think? Could this green miracle save our planet? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, so we can keep exploring stories that will truly make you say, unbelievable.
Kudos, man. The thing is, if China can't do, I don't think anybody else can, because this is really massive. So guys, I did not know about this story. I just saw it out there, and then we decided to kind of take a look, and it was really mind-blowing. So we hope you guys enjoyed it, and leave your comments in the comment section if you think this is an awesome thing happening, and many other parts of the world or of the globe should also, like, emulate this. DLS, we'll see you in the next episode.
Peace.
Peace out.